All right, so I'm going to start this episode off by applying some of my Persian Night beard oil from the Esthete Beard Co. And so you will be hearing from Frankie today and really his mission of serving the bearded professional and how being a veteran, but not only a veteran and veteran entrepreneur, has really opened his eyes up to the host of different resources that can be locally, that can be online, that can be, really in our midst if we really take advantage. But he recognized that it may not always be the easiest to find and take advantage of. So he prides himself on being able to provide other veteran entrepreneurs like himself with these resources and with these kind of plugins and with places to start and places to go. So with that, though, he also attributes the success of Esthete Beard Company to his family, his wife, and his 3 children. His 3 children really play a crucial role because, their excitement really gears everything. And while sometimes Frankie has to take a step back from certain elements of the business, he does not let that deter him from making sure that the foundation continues to build and continues to grow. So without further ado, I definitely want my fellas to take advantage of this product. Definitely tap in because, as you can see, it's not only good for the beard, but it's good for the skin, good for the hair, just in general. So enjoy episode 115 of Family Brand. All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner, man. I'm sitting down with a really good dude today, man. I'm sitting down with somebody who I actually had the pleasure of meeting at my job. So big shout out to WeWork, man. Definitely has been a place where I have been able to make an array of different connections in different industries, different people, different walks of life, different places. Even they have then gone on to give me different connections via word of mouth, via just social media, everything like that. So Frankie, man, Frankie was actually somebody who I met through Aaron Caldwell, through Bunker Labs. Big shout out to Aaron, man. He was actually somebody who joined the podcast about a series and a half ago. Definitely came on here and talked about everything that he's doing, one, just as a veteran entrepreneur and everything like that, but was also Aaron is somebody who is very resourceful. He will plug you in, he will help you out, he will promote you, he will shout your name to the heavens for as much as he can, as long as he can, make everything happen either way. So I was very happy. I actually met Frankie when he was actually getting inducted into the Bunker Labs cohort. So met him beforehand. He actually left his laptop charger. We held on to it for a little bit. That's a throwback for him. Then he came, but he was somebody who originally I really hit it off with. We really just, we politicked, we talked. I was able to give him an intro to what we had going on here. And then he was able to tell me a lot of what he had going on even after the Bunker Labs ceremony. So I was very impressed, not only by his business, but just by his presentation, just everything from what he actually offers to the quality of the product. So he actually then ended up gifting me a product that I still use to this day. So big shout out to you for that, Frankie. Thank you. And I definitely do love it. I should have actually had it sitting right beside me. That would have been timely, but I forgot today. So, but nonetheless, you are definitely doing great work. I'm definitely excited for my followers, for everybody, my listeners, audience, everything, to be able to tap in with you. So how's everything? How you doing, man?
Everything. That's always a big question. I love when I ask people, "Hey, so how's everything?" Right? Like, I expect them to tell me it all, tell me everything in 5 minutes. Things are going well, just busy, busy, but busy is a good thing. Yeah, busy with fam, busy with full-time work, and busy trying to steadily grow this business, which has been fun, exciting, outstanding. Love entrepreneurship. Love entrepreneurship. Busy. Things have been busy.
Good. Busy, like you said, busy is good, though. Definitely keeps us on our toes, definitely keeps the ball rolling. So I know that once this interview is released, even right now, we're going to have people tuning in who are going to be from my side, some people from your side, some people far and in between. So can you, one, just tell us a little bit about yourself? And then can you, two, just tell us what brings you on the Down to Business podcast today?
You got it. So I guess the long and short of it, right, is Frankie Valli, as you mentioned, with Esthete Beard Company, where our goal is to help the bearded professional to soothe the beard and soothe the soul. So we do that by creating men's grooming products that use all natural ingredients, 100% all natural. We're like 75% organic. And I know I've talked to a few people this weekend. 75% is not 100%, so it may as well be zero, but we're getting close. Actually in talks with manufacturers right now, a couple of different manufacturers, to try to find one who might be able to help us achieve that goal. But all natural products, using only essential oils for the scent profiles for the aromatherapeutic value to help keep the bearded professional looking and feeling their best. All right, so that's our long and short.
Right now. So look, y'all heard him. Kept it long, kept it short, sweet, to the point. But as you can see, for the people that are looking for the visuals and everything, Frankie has the full beard, as y'all, you know. So I think that what he's promoting, I think that what we're tuning into to see, I think, you know, he can be a living example. He can be some proof for. He can be, you know, he couldn't get up there selling his product and talking to you about that, but look like me, you know. But keep in mind, I am working on it. I do get haircuts. We do have to reset here and there. So we're making it happen.
It all
I'm
comes, it
finding my
comes in
bearded
time.
professionalism in all of this. So no, the few things that kind of stuck out to me in the very beginning. So you said that you basically only use essential oils. Now, with the reasoning behind that, so I know you said the aromatherapeutic profile. Is
You got
that the main reason why? Do you see that essential oils prove to be a greater benefit when it comes to like hair growth specifically on the face and everything like that? Why did you pick essential oils as the kind of the base for everything that you do with Esthete?
right. So good question. And ultimately, yeah, the aromatherapeutic value. So there were a lot of good companies out there. You know, I got into the business myself, more of a passion of love, right? It was more I was exploring, kind of just playing with a few things and for myself, so strictly for myself. Never thought about doing anything with it. But you know, a lot of great companies out there. I'm a veteran. I think you already mentioned that, Army veteran, 5 years of service, and I I always let my beard grow out. But I always got to a point where it started to look just unkempt. Didn't look good, didn't look very professional. I've worked in a lot of professional capacities, and so I needed to look well groomed. And so it'd get to a point, maybe 2 3 months worth of growth, and then I'd have the barber knock it down and then grow it back out. Beginning of COVID, shortly before COVID fully came in effect, I started letting it grow back out, and I work full time for the VA, and I was doing a telehealth appointment with a veteran. He's like, "Oh, Frankie, you're letting your beard grow out. Do you use beard oil?" And I'm like, "Come again? Beard oil?" Right? Didn't have any idea. Didn't have a clue what beard oil was. And so he kind of turned me on to beard oil. I went online, looked some stuff up, bought a kit, right, that had beard oil, a brush, comb, and a few other items in it to give it a try. I didn't know any better, right? I'm using it, and my beard's still feeling, you know, a little dried out. I didn't know what was going on. Talked to another buddy, turned me on to some podcast or YouTubers, content creators. Started watching videos, got turned on to a whole new world, right? Started buying products from other companies. And like I said, there are a lot of good companies out there for sure. The issue I was having, though, and great ingredients as well, but the issue I was having was that a lot of the companies use fragrance oils for their scent profiles, and you know, there's nothing wrong with this with fragrance oils. They're not going to damage your skin. They're not going to damage your hair. But for me, it was like putting cologne in my beard, like in my mustache, and it was just too strong. As it is, I don't use a lot of fragrance, right? One of my favorite of my own products is the smoky cedar, right? It's a strong smoky cedar scent. It smells like the morning after a campfire, right? That next morning. Love it. And but so the difference between the essential and the fragrance oils is the fragrance oils are artificial, and they will last all day, the scent. So they last a lot longer. But that was one of the drawbacks for me, right? Is that cologne smell in my face all day. I'd have to wash it out. I'd ultimately have to wash it out. I hadn't figured out yet, right? A tip to those that do like the fragrance oils is that you can cut it, right? Mix it with a little bit of an unscented oil or just a straight carrier oil. It'll dilute it some, and the smell will reduce some. So maybe you can tolerate it. I didn't think about that early on. At the beginning, it was just, man, I have to find sense. So I just use unscented found one company that I really liked and was buying their unscented blend and thought, let me play with this some. So as I did, I decided to use only essential oils. One, because of that fragrance issue for me. That was an issue for me. Um, Decided to use essential oils, and that was pretty much all she wrote. Right, I'm a licensed mental health counselor. That's my background. I've been licensed here in the state of Florida since 2012. I was in private practice for a period of time. Opened a treatment center with some individuals. I brought on investors, and we opened a full-blown treatment center here in Tampa, and that I ultimately moved away from and took a full-time job with the VA. But aromatherapy was big, right? I was aware of the benefits of aromatherapy. I worked with a lot of holistic practitioners, right? I'm not a huge fan of the medical model. So in my practice, as I was building up, I worked with a lot of holistic folks, right? I had an acupuncturist coming into the office, yoga instructor, a chiropractor, nutritionist, right? Dietitian. So I looked at the holistic approach and working with folks. And aromatherapy, I was educated even more on aromatherapy by a number of those individuals. And so I always had diffusers going on in every room. And saw a difference, not just for myself, the experience myself, but feedback I got from clients and from other staff members. And so ultimately, I wanted to. You can't just walk away from it, right? By the time I left the business, to be honest, I was getting a little burned out anyway, right? But the truth is it's almost like I'm also a kid that was born and raised in the projects, right? I was born and raised in the hood, and they always say like, they say you can take the boy out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the boy, right? I mean, I'm a therapist, right? So despite the fact that I'm not working in a therapeutic role right now, those skill sets are still, the knowledge, the experience, the skill sets are still there. And so I wanted to incorporate that somehow into this business model as I started developing it as a business model. At the beginning, again, it was just for me. I just wanted to see what I could come up with. I love being creative, building things, developing things. I have a cousin who owns a barbershop here in Brandon, not too far from me, Juan Rivero, over at oh my goodness, at the blind shearsman, right? He's going to kill me when he sees this, and see that that's what happens when you're on the spot. The blind shearsman barbershop or grooming dojo here in Brandon. And actually, the first product I made was a beard balm, beard butter, and he loved it. And he asked if I'd be willing to make some for him to sell at the shop. And I said, you know what? Hold that thought, right? Reached out to the SBDC, got started with them. A buddy of mine got me connected with an entrepreneurship program over at Amrock in Tampa. Inquinant is the name of the program. And that just got the ball rolling, right? So started getting some solid feedback. Again, I wasn't new to business, but had never been involved in a business like this. So as it was, I was figuring it out, as I'm going through it in the treatment program. But with this business, started looking for support, and hence now I'm involved with Bunker Labs. That's been a tremendous support. Aaron Caldwell, amazing individual. Like you're saying, willing, the man will take the shirt off his back and give it to you. I've heard that saying used a number of times, but yeah, just good people. I've been connected with a lot of good people in Bunker Labs, the Strive program over at HEC. All right, now I'm just kind of rambling, but the background with the mental health, I really wanted to incorporate that, and so I'm still developing that piece of the model, how to best move forward with being able to educate men on the importance of mental health, of good mental health, practicing skills to help them develop in their mental health. And so I'm still working on ways to do that. So it's a work in progress right now.
And I think that, well, one thing, no, that to me, that's not rambling. To me, that's your story. Everybody has a unique journey. Everybody has a unique, how they came into this. Everybody, it didn't start as just you've always been interested. This is always something that you wanted to do. Some things are trial and error. Some things are just word of mouth. Some things are a simple question. Like you said, the beard oil question
Yeah.
completely threw you for a loop with something that you were not tapped into directly. But after you did some research, after you even started to compare, you knew because you could have gotten to that, but you could have been somebody who liked the fragrances, who liked the smells. This could have went a totally different way for you, but because you knew from the beginning that that just wasn't something that resonated with you personally, it caused you to kind of veer this way a little bit. So I think that journey to becoming a business owner, becoming an entrepreneur, getting involved with your own brand is always unique to said individual, but it's so important, and it really can shape how you move forward with that. So kind of going a little bit further about what you said with, the partnership with the barbershops, the partnership with Bunker Labs, people kind of coming into your life or already being in your life, but being able to help you propel Esthete and really help you, get the word out there. What would you say has been or if anything, what's been the biggest form of, like, I would say, collaboration or partnership when it comes to what you do? I know you said you were talking about the barbershops and he wanted to bring you in there. I know you said that you're a part of the cohort with Bunker Labs. I know you even said you were working with HCC, which I know is a very resourceful place with a bunch of resourceful people, because we even met a lot of them here on the WeWork side. But what really, when it comes to Esthete Beard, is this something that you really solely look to do just in-house, just with the website and everything that you have going social media wise? Or are you looking for these partnerships to be in stores, to be in your beauty supply shops, to have other people kind of selling the product, so that way it's really multiplying with how people are figuring out what you do?
Yeah, another great question. And yeah, as the model has continued to develop, I think so it is a family-owned business, not just a veteran-owned business, family-owned business. So the funny thing about that is, when I say family, I'm talking a 7-year-old, a newly turned 9-year-old. Sorry, forgive me. Newly turned 9-year-old and 11-year-old. Right. So my kids are 7, 9, and 11, and my wife. So that's what makes up the core Esthete Beard team. Right. So it's funny. I was talking to my son earlier. We just ordered combs and brushes that we're going to be adding to the store, and going to be adding to to the website and to the markets when we go to the markets. And I was showing my son a picture of the combs and the brushes, and he's getting excited. Right, my kids, the big thing for them are merch. Are we going to have merch? Right, from watching all kinds of YouTubers and stuff. And but and videos, can we do, right? So they really want to get involved. The biggest way to get involved is the feedback, right? Their energy and the feedback. But so the goal is absolutely retail, right? So direct to consumer is definitely a must, right? The product needs to get introduced. There is a niche market, I feel like, within the niche market, right? The men's grooming products are a niche market, but despite the fact that they're a niche market, there are millions of dollars spent on men's grooming products, and so there is a market. But I have not come across any products that kind of have the same mission that we do here at Esthete Beard Company. And so it's still unique, right? And my target audience to begin with, as I say, was the bearded professional, because I thought about other clinicians, other therapists, other psychologists, hospital workers, folks who work in the social services industries, right? These, although I don't know if there are any careers that are not high stress, right? Any job, regardless of how much we love it, how much fun it might be, has its levels of stress. But I've been in the human services industry for over 20 years. And it can absolutely, it can be a thankless career, right? We do our best to serve those in the community, and don't always get a thank you. As a matter of fact, sometimes get a little thrown under the bus sometimes, but it's all good. Part of the deal. So that was my primary focus and target. So it's almost like a niche within a niche. But ultimately, absolutely, our goal is to get more into business to B2B, right? And get into different markets. So we are looking at barbershops and salons. Recently reached out to a hotel and looking at the possibility of getting products potentially. And I mean, how many bearded men out there would love to see go to a hotel for the night, realize they left their grooming products at home, find some beard oil and a beard comb or beard brush to look good while they're out and about, right? So yeah, business to business is definitely something we're looking to move into, and so it's just it's building up to that. I know before we look at really launching in that direction, there's still some steps we have to take. Again, like connecting with a manufacturer. All of our formulations are 100% in house, right? We don't white label, so we're not getting oils. Products from other companies and then slapping our label on them. I've created all the scent profiles we have. Some of them are more simple. Others are more complex. I plan on developing more. I love the complex scent profiles. That's really what I'm going for and moving toward. There's just so much to do that I haven't really gotten back to the formulations just yet, but that's coming. That's coming.
You spoke about two things that I love, honestly. One, about the children. So big shout out to them. Happy belated birthday to whoever just turned 9. But
Mateo.
I definitely do think
Mateo.
that that's important. Just being able to have feedback in your life in general is neat. I tell people all the time with the podcast, I need it. Please tell me, like, don't just tell me that you loved it. Don't just like the episode, share it. Like, tell me, what could have been better? What could we do differently? I'm having my 3rd live event in December. And I'm constantly just, thinking of different ideas, writing things down. What can I do here to up the ante? Like for the 2nd event, I got a custom made candle and I gave it away to somebody. Well, now I feel like, I got to come a little bit harder and I got to make saying gave some products away from Black owned businesses. But it's always important to just have people around you that can give a different perspective. 4 eyes are better than 2 eyes, 4 hands are better than 2 hands. But I think that it's even better in your scenario because these are your children. These are younger people. These are people that are with the times in a sense. Like there are even probably some things that they have kind of brought up to you or they have even shown you or suggested to you. And it's just like, and well, how do you do that? Or like, how does that work? Or like, what are we, where are we really starting? Because even with my little brother, the social media, I call them the social media generation. There's just so much going on from TikToks to the reels, to the videos, to the YouTube, to content creation, to just in general, there's so much to do. But especially as a business owner, especially to appeal to different people, because, like you said, you have that bearded professional. That's kind of the market and the audience that you want to target and who you want to go after. But little do you know, one of your children could give you some insight into this or some insight into, because kids these days, they looking older and older, but are really younger and younger. So it's some kid, in middle school and high school with full beards, like playing football, full chin strap, all of that, going on so they can give you some insight into how to better market to them. God bless you, or just something a little catchy that'll, help them, or just, oh, if you put this YouTube video up and you share it here, or you're all good. All things that you may have not thought of, or you may have been later to the game had you not gotten that feedback. So, having them kind of strategically placed and excited for the merch and excited for the combs and the beards, it's all going to come full circle for sure. But then two, the mental health aspect. I think that is just by far one of the most just important things, especially as men. We see so many times that our women and just people in our lives are encouraging us to just talk and just know that we can confide in them and have a friend in them and faith in them and a listening ear and an open heart and things like that. But it's nothing like being able to hear that from another man. And no offense to my ladies, not at all. We take that very seriously. We embrace that. We appreciate that. We love that, whether we speak on it or not. It's definitely just something that even sometimes we just got to put that pride to the side and just know that it's okay to be heard. It's okay to feel. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be able to articulate or express yourself. These are all very valid emotions and feelings, but it's nothing like being able to hear it from a counterpart or another guy or somebody who never in a million years would you have thought you would have seen a vulnerable side of them or kind of break down or just anything like that. But the fact that, we can be business owners, we can be 9-to-5ers, we can be entrepreneurs, we can be family men, we can be professionals, entertainers, rap artists, whatever. But at the end of the day, still be human beings, still have feelings, still put all that to the side when operations are closed, when we clock out, and we are us, we are tomorrow, we are Frankie, Mateo, anything like that. We need that. We need that type of presence. So I think that that's such an important aspect of your business and just of your life that you hit on, that you highlight, that you don't negate no matter what you do or where you are, or how big this grows or anything. So definitely keep that. But you talked about the scent profiles. Okay, so let's get into it a little bit. How you said you like the complicated things. You said you like to add, you said you like to work hard and work smart at the same time is what it sounds like. You like to give yourself a challenge. So when it comes to the scent profiles, where's the motivation behind, where's the inspiration behind that? Are you constantly just researching things? Are you just trial and error? Are the kids involved at all with that? What does that really look like when you're curating different scents and just different products to put out there to be marketed?
I think it'd be funny to hear them respond to that question, right? They get over it. Hey, smell this, smell this. What do you think? What do you think? To my wife, they all smell like alcohol, and it's like, well, how do you get alcohol, right? Until they're mixed with the carrier oils, and then that helps out a little. It just depends. Again, in all honesty, I have not been in formulation mode for probably a good 6 months now, right? I've been in the mode of working on packaging, working on product presentation, working on getting into markets, working on making sales, right? Working on getting the job done, getting doing the day-to-day of trying to run a business. So I have not been in that mode, and I'm feeling a little bit of a shift because I feel like I'm getting to a place where it's time, right? Like holiday season, you have a lot of companies that come out with holiday scents, right? The pumpkin spice or all of these apple pie. And that's cool. I don't know that I want to go in that direction, right? So I'm not inspired necessarily in that way to create the fall season blends. I think seasonal blends is definitely a good thing, though. I think that different seasons invoke or scents, right? Seasons invoke different moods, scents invoke different emotions, right? So definitely opportunity to use scent to help people shift mood. So for example, we have 3 different lines that we've come up with, right? 3 different lines. We refer to them as blends. We have the timeless blends, the urbane blends, and the wellness blends. So the timeless blends are meant to be the traditional woodsy scent profiles, which again, primarily since we're using essential oils, they're going to have some level of aromatherapeutic value anyway, right? The urbane blends are more of like the date night blends, or sometimes I refer to them as like the grown and sexy blends, right? And the wellness blends are scent profiles, so combining essential oils that are known to have aromatherapeutic value alone and when you put them together. Our calming blend is a simple blend, right? It is a simple blend. Texas cedarwood and lavender, both oils that are known in research to help promote mental wellness, right? You won't really find studies that say essential oils definitively do A, B, C, or D, right? Those kinds of results are they use those with the medication industry, right? With big pharma. Big pharma gets the stamp of approval. This medication will absolutely do A, B, C, D. Essential oils or anything on the alternative side, not so much, right? So the stamp of approval is really reserved for big pharma. But yeah, research that you can look up research studies on many essential oils and find what the folks running the studies have determined, shows the potential for improved mood, to reduce anxiety, reduce depressive symptoms, stuff like that. So the calming with the lavender and the Texas cedarwood absolutely can be helpful with, can potentially be helpful with helping to kind of ease anxiety, right? Help folks to feel a little more calm, a little more relaxed, and even get to sleep. Both of those oils are known to help people with insomnia, or are recommended, right? Whether it's diffusing them or putting the oil, a little bit of oil spread on your pillow or sprayed on your pillow, or put a little, right, a little beard oil in that mustache or goatee or beard, and get that aromatherapeutic value. But so I almost forgot the original question. Uh, Ultimately, right. So I have not been in formulation mode, but there's so many combinations. I mean, I guess I get my inspiration from, from random things, right? Conversations with folks, uh, uh, research online, right? I might research something like essential oils that are known to be helpful with anxiety, right? And sometimes they'll give those formulations. A lot of the combinations of oils that you'll find online are primarily geared toward using in a diffuser, like I have running in the back there, with a little bit of frankincense and myrrh, two of my favorite scents. But uh, so I might try some of those, but really, I took a number of trainings on learning how to create essential oil formulations, how to create the product that I make, because I wanted to make sure I was doing it correctly. And I wanted to make sure that I could replicate the process, repeat the process, right? It's not helpful if I create a scent profile that is amazing, but then can't replicate it. So I definitely took trainings to learn how to do that. So the formulations that I have down, I mean, are to converted from drops. Like I might try a couple of drops of this, couple of drops, and I might open the essential oil bottles and smell a couple together, see how this smells, right? Try this. Okay, I kind of like this. Let me put a couple of drops of this, couple of drops of that. And then kind of take it from there, right? But the drops can then be converted to weight, so that at that point, it doesn't matter what size batch you're making, you can absolutely continue to replicate that formulation over and over again, which is it was pretty cool to learn that. Um, but yeah, that's inspiration comes from everywhere. Yeah, everywhere.
Good. No, it's something about diffusers too. It's definitely been something I would say I've been introduced to later on in life. I guess when I became an adult, really had to start buying my own things and making my own room and
The
house.
pains of growing up. Yeah, yeah.
You have adult responsibilities. So, but no, they are definitely something that I love. I love how they fill a room. I love the act that sometimes I can't even tell if my diffuser's on because I can't see it. I kind of got to tell everything to be quiet or silent. And I really got to listen to it. But I just love that. But it's calming, even right
Yeah.
before I go to sleep. I feel like when I open my room door, oh, I'm ready to go to bed. It's over. It makes the bed just feel more comfortable, makes the room feel darker, cozier. Just it's something about that. So no, I get that, but I also understand what you mean when you say the idea of that inspiration comes in so many different forms. I was even talking on my previous episode about how some of the content ideas that I get and some of the things that I do and just want to do, it's so random. Like I was even explaining the example about I was in the gym and literally after I left the gym, something came to me. So I called my friend Sean and I'm like, yo, we got to do this. We got to do that. I'm breathing heavy. I'm walking back, but I'm like, I have to get this out now while I got to write things down. I got a little board that I'm about to set up when I get moved into my next spot. So like you said, it can be a conversation, it can be word of mouth, it can be commercials, social media, anything. Sometimes I'll even go to just different sites or click on different things or just maybe take a walk somewhere that I've never walked before or take a different path just to see if anything stands out, just to see if me going off my regular routine will cause something to spark out or motivation or anything like that. So I think that's important. But two, I want to point out something that you said that's very important for my business owners, for my entrepreneurs, for everybody out there. So you said that pretty much the basis of the question was trying to figure out not even why, how you put together these scents, how you come together with these blends, with color combinations, anything like that, especially for you not wanting the fragrance side of things. But you straight up said that you have not been in formulation for 6 months. That's not to say you have not been doing anything towards your business for 6 months.
Oh,
There
not
are
at all.
multiple assets and facets of a business that, like you said, you've been working on merch, you've been figuring out branding, packaging, you've been figuring out how to get things word of mouth. Mar, I've even seen you active on social media now. Granted, I'm just kind of getting around to your social media, but I've seen you kind of, you popped up at the event that Aaron Caldwell and Faven had in eBoard and different things like that, and kind of showed there and got some great visuals and shots and stuff like that. So I think that it's important as business owners, as entrepreneurs, creatives, as anything, that we realize, look, we may not always be doing what we want to do. We may not
Right.
be always doing
Right.
even what we feel as though we should be doing. But that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. That's the beauty of business ownership. You
Yeah.
dictate and you decide what's going on, how you're going to do this. You know that you haven't been in formulation for 6 months.
Right.
You know that, there can definitely be some things kind of curate and then you can kind of make happen. You probably could have made something within that 6 months, but you also know that there were other avenues of your business that you had to tackle and pay attention to. If all you worried about was formulation, 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 well, you would have a lot of products, but maybe your packaging wouldn't be as appealing. So it's nothing like having a fire product, something that you put your all into, and then you get it. And it's just like sometimes that's the first thing we see, a box, a package, when you open it up. I'm not gonna lie, it's nothing like, everybody loves that excitement. You open it up, oh, I got a package, da, da, da. But it's nothing like the insides of it or the branding of it or the personalized notes or even having your name on it or just the color of it or just anything with it that so many people don't realize that as consumers, we resonate with. Sometimes people straight up just continue to shop and continue to return because they resonate with it or was
And hit.
stood out to, it just hit, you hit a focal point that another business owner wasn't doing, or you went above and beyond the extra mile. You did something that I wasn't even expecting, that now it's making me look at other retailers or other big consumers like, wow, well, y'all got to step it up. Frankie is, he's really taking a personable approach. He's making me not forget Esthete Beard by any means necessary. And I think that that's important as business owners, as entrepreneurs. Look, there are different things that you have to focus on at different points in your life. Don't make it seem like 6 months. Yes, to some it's a very long time. 6 months went by just like that. I honestly met Frankie in July. It's
Right.
about to be 6 months since I've met him. And let's be very frank here. January will be 6 months. So
Right.
that's just, November's about to be gone. It's about to be Thanksgiving before we know it. Then Christmas is here. Then the ball's dropping. We're right back January 1st. We're in 2023 now. So, but over the course of 6 months, you put in extra work to show for that. And I think that as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, that's something that's crucial. It's nothing like, being able to step aside from one thing but pay attention towards another thing. Not, you may have lost some motivation. You may have even looked one day and been like, I could be in formulation. I could be making some things happen, but you didn't steer away from your business 100%. And I think that
Yeah.
that
No,
is the most important
not
part. Yeah.
not easy to do. And I agree 100% with everything you're saying. But you know what? That's the beauty of entrepreneurship, right? That's what draws me to entrepreneurship. I mean, I love the creative process. Like I said earlier, I love to be creative, to develop, to man, I mean, I find inspiration everywhere. And to since being on my own the first time in 2012 is when I launched off in private practice. Man, in private practice, I thought to myself, I hope I never have to work for anyone else again, because when I was working for myself, I couldn't imagine working for someone again, right? I'd hoped that I wouldn't have to go back to work for someone else. And based on how things panned out, I'll tell you what, God is good, and God knows a heck of a lot more than me, because the way things went, I ended up with the VA, and here I am today. And actually, it's funny. I had a conversation with Aaron one time, and we were talking about what's to come, and where Esthete Beard Company, what direction I want to go with it, or we as a family want to go with it, and ultimately I told him, listen, man, I don't know, right? Like, we do have a vision, we have an idea of the direction we want to go, but for all we know, God is going to take us in another direction, right? This may be a stepping stone to something else. That's the awesome thing about entrepreneurship, right? You have the ability to be creative. You get to create, you get to build, you get to develop, you get to man, I don't know, I'm a worker. right? I'm someone who is not always all that comfortable sitting on my hands. You will never find me at my house on the couch, right? I'm just not that guy. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just not me. I'm someone who I've always felt driven to do more, to continue to do, and in the clinical world and in the clinical world, they like to say it's sometimes important to just be, right. Stop doing and start being. And there's something to that, absolutely. And I make time for that, right? I absolutely make time to be, because that's important. I make time to dig into the Word of God, to figure out, to get answers, to life, right? To get direction. So there are things that I definitely do for me. But the point is that I feel driven. And, I've spent so many years working to help other people build their dreams. There's just something to be said for an opportunity to take time to start working on your dreams. So entrepreneurship is an awesome thing. It's an amazing thing. I mean, my job with the VA right now is to help veterans find employment. And if it was up to me, I'd be steering every one of them into entrepreneurship. But the truth is it's also not for everyone. It is a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work. I have a buddy. It's funny. He put out it's probably a TikTok video, but I saw it on Instagram, where he's kind of joking around. There's the audio in the background. I wanted to work for myself. I was tired of the 9 to 5, and I wanted to work for myself. Now I work 24 hours a day, right? Right. It's true. Entrepreneurship is not an easy thing, but boy, is it rewarding, right? It all depends on what your goals are. So,
Most definitely. Even that takes me back to the conversation I had with Aaron on the podcast. We came on here and we basically both concluded that anybody can be an entrepreneur, simply put, just like you said, but it is not for everybody. Like,
right.
it definitely, some people have to be 9 to 5. Some people you just need. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I want to be a full-time entrepreneur.
Some folks want to work hard, hang it up, go home, and just relax.
And that's it, right?
Nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with earning a hard, honest living doing that. Especially if it's something that you love to do, that you studied, that you were in school for, whatever the case may be. If you're enjoying it, or if it's paying the bills, feeding the family, whatever you needed to do, if it's doing that, perfectly fine. But like you said, there are people out there, who want to operate in a different space. I won't even really say go that extra mile in a sense, because it makes it kind of seem like entrepreneurship is kind of above no, we're all kind of working and moving and grooving in our own different ways. But some people just like to veer and often take different roads and different paths and different travel. So I think that, but like you said, I think that that's so important, that differentiation sometimes, because like you said, if it was up to you, with the VA, you would tell everybody, hey, this is the path, this is the way to go. Look, I'm not telling you to do it how I did it, but I'm telling you that it can be done. So, but I also think that, a very important realization with that is also, too, what works for you and what doesn't. It's nothing like, trying to embrace this space and really move into the business ownership world and things like that. And just realizing that, there are certain things that are not for you. Some people are just meant to really be on the team or be that component or be that integral part, and not really be that owner or the delegator or the one who's calling the shots and everything. Some people like to more so be behind the scenes. Some people would rather be on the scene. So it's definitely a lot of differentiation and things. So
a lot of moving parts. Do you mind if if you don't mind, I want to plug something in really quickly. Is that, but it's also never too late, right? A lot of moving parts like you're talking about, but I know that there are probably folks out there who feel like, they've made bad decisions in their lives. And so because of those bad decisions, there couldn't be a chance, right? There's no way they could ever really get into entrepreneurship, because their past may be preventing them from moving forward, right? I'll say that I'm a person, I consider myself to be a person in long-term recovery. Okay. I got sober in 2004. And that's when my life really, really started, right? I'm 29, right? 2 months away from my 30th birthday. And I wake up one morning hungover, broke, no money in my pocket, right? I'd borrowed another $100 from my mother. And And she told me when she gave me that $100, she said, Frankie, that's it, man. That's it. Right. I was in between jobs. Right. So I always worked. I always worked. But I happened to be in between jobs and I'd been borrowing money. I had an ex-girlfriend visiting me from Canada, and I'm spending money that I don't have. And she's like, that's it, man. I can't do anything more for you. And woke up that morning, hungover. I look over to the side and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I've been on this roller coaster, right? I have a stepfather who is, at the time, he was 36 years sober, right? In through a recovery program. And I picked up the phone. I gave him a call. I'm like, listen, I'm done. I'm done. What do you suggest? And he said, well, I suggest when you get back home, right? I had an apartment in Orlando and I was going back and forth. Um, Check out a meeting, go to a meeting. So I went ahead and did that. And that was the beginning of that journey. So this is the interesting thing, right? I get sober. I'm angry with God, angry with life, angry with the world, pissed off at myself because I felt like I'd thrown away so much of my life, right? Despite the fact that I grew up in the projects, I went to private school for a number of years until I got myself kicked out of that school, but that's a whole nother story. And but I had an opportunity to see the other side of life and how these kids lived, and which was I needed to see that, right? So why not me, right? Why not me? Why can't I have what they have? And so I think that's part of what drove me. But so through that process of finding recovery, right? Doing the work, because believe me, there's work to be done, right? Whether you're in recovery or not, because we're all in recovery from something, right? I'm going to tell you now. I could tell you this as a non-therapist, right? We are all in recovery from something. It's just a matter of whether we are willing to acknowledge that we have a problem or what that problem is, and trying to figure out what we need to do to move forward, where we need to get the help, the support. You were talking about that earlier. As men, as I can say as a Latin male, you might be able to say as a Black male, but I would venture to say that it doesn't matter where you're from, your background, your ethnicity, the color of your skin, your race, religion, right? It doesn't matter. As men, we're raised to, and for the most part, to believe that we need to be self-sufficient. We need to figure it out. We need to do it on our own, right? And although there's something to that, there's something to pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. The truth is I'll tell you what, I don't know too many people that have done it alone, right? I love listening to business podcasts and listen to people tell their stories about how they got from point A to point B. And occasionally, I'll hear some ego, but it's a rarity that I don't hear people talk about the people around them that lifted them up, right? In this recovery program, what I like to say, and I've heard it said by others as well, and it was absolutely true for me, that I found people that were willing to love me until I could learn to love myself, right? And that was huge. That was huge. And through that process, angry with God, right? Man, did going through the recovery process, doing the work that's required as you're going through the recovery process. And the work never ends. I just want to be clear about that. I don't want to say it as though my work has ended. I'm done. I hung it up because I'm good to go now. Not at all the case, right? Because I'm human. We are all susceptible to relapse, to backsliding, whatever you want to call it. Those demons are always there, right? They're always there, and they're always calling if we're not vigilant and doing what we need to do. But it's amazing that going through the process I went through, how that process brought me back to a relationship with God, right? Something I never thought would happen, right? My very first meeting, I looked up at the walls where they had the steps and traditions, and I'm like, can't do that one. Any step with God, can't do that one. Can't do that one. I'll do that one. I might do that one, right? Recovery a la carte. And I found out that that's not how it works, right? Not how it works. So became willing to do the work, and yeah, little did I know what what that would do for me. I met my wife when I was about 2.5 years sober. And, what an amazing thing that my wife has never seen me touch alcohol, right? My kids have never seen daddy drink, right? Amazing. I can tell you that had I been drinking, there's no way in the world I'd be with my wife. My wife she's not the one. It's not going to happen. Um, Not going to happen. And so again, God knew what He was doing, because that wouldn't have happened if I were still in that part of my life. But yeah, all of that to say that it's possible, man. It's possible. Listen, I have not arrived, right? I'm not sitting on top of the world. We're not making millions of dollars, and that may or may not come. I'll be honest with you, that's not my biggest concern. The fact that I have an opportunity to teach my kids about entrepreneurship, right? Teach them what it takes, what it means to own a business, to coddle a business, to develop it a little bit at a time, right? And put everything into it, put your life into it, balanced life, right? But what an amazing thing. That was what really, when I left the treatment program, I didn't think I'd ever go back into business for myself. I was happy to have a 9 to 5 job. It was like reverse. I was happy to have a 9 to 5. I go home, I don't have to worry about anything. But like I said, that's not my personality. So after a good 7, 8 months, I started getting itchy and started looking around. But but also because I spent so much time building up to that program, right? Building that program, policies and procedures, framework building that program. I was working 6, 7 days a week, and I missed a part of my kids, growth and development. I missed them, right? I'd see them in the morning, drop them off at school. By the time I got home at night, they'd be asleep, right? I'm not doing that right now. That's not what this is about, right? This is about teaching, right? And having fun with it, because I'll tell you what, I thoroughly enjoy what I'm doing in this business, and the idea that I still have an opportunity to impact others in a positive way, right? Is a bonus, right? That's just a benefit. So not for everyone, but definitely possible, right? Definitely possible. We all make mistakes in life. Just don't give up. If there's anyone out there interested in entrepreneurship, you have an idea that you want to develop and coddle and grow, and there are resources out there, many programs. If you're a veteran, you have Bunker Labs, you have the Strive program at HCC. There are other programs out there, the SBDC, the Hillsborough County, man, I always forget the name. Lynn, if you're out there, a lot of programs out there, a lot of resources. It is possible. You just have to take the initiative to do it, and try to surround yourself with people who are willing to help, and that are going to support you along the way. People who can help to love you until you can learn to love yourself, right?
That's important, man. I think you are definitely a walking example of the transformation that's possible when you really apply yourself, when you really want for yourself. A lot of times that's really just what it is. We can talk about things, we can speak things into existence as much as we want. And if we don't want it, it's just not going to happen. Like you said, somebody can want something. I've wanted people to succeed more than they wanted their own selves to succeed. And have they succeeded? No, just because, their want is not there per se, or it's a shaky one, or it's an inconsistent one, or it's a when you want, not, it should just be a constant. And like you said, it definitely looks different for everybody. It's balanced with it too, because we're not just going to expect you to just wake up, just go all in, just make it happen. But you do have to wake up and start somewhere and take something serious, take strides and take steps to getting on that better life. Because like you said, had you still been in the space that you were years ago, you wouldn't be married to the woman who you are now. Who knows where your kids would be? Who knows if Esthete would even be a thing? So the fact that how one decision, how one transformation, how one choice, how one want can bring you all the way to this, I think it's amazing. I think it's beautiful, but it also just goes to show the process, the beauty in it all, the fact that, the life is yours to live and you can live it on your own terms. You can live it definitely on some regrettable terms and waking up and just not realizing what's going on and why are you like this, or you can live it on, you wake up excited, you wake up ready to work, you wake up just motivated, driven to make things happen. And I think, ultimately the choice is yours. There are a lot of different circumstances and situations that can play a part in that, but ultimately it's your choice. So what's next? I hear so much about what you're doing. I see you involved in so many just different things, and I see you even plugging in so many of the different resources that you have to others to take advantage of and to make available. So I would definitely tell, especially all my veterans, to definitely tap into what he's doing, to what he's a part of. Bunker Lab's a great program. I've been able to see 2 different cohorts now and interview people from both of them. So thinking about Esthete, thinking about the children being involved, thinking about everything that you talked about, from branding to packaging to a little break from formulation to speaking at events, at shops, pop-up shops, and just different things like that. What can the people be expecting? Obviously, I don't want to spoil any surprises or think about anything that you may have coming up, thinking about the year ending Q4. But I love the podcast because I like to pull things out of people. I like to see, what you got going on for the people who are new. What can they, I want to keep them around with Esthete. I don't want this to just be a one-time thing. I want them to be following up. I want them to be making sure that, for as much as you're holding yourself accountable, they are holding you accountable just as well, but all in good nature because they want you to succeed. So what can the people expect? Any new products, any new branding material, any new collaborations, any space that you're even trying to get involved in or maybe been doing a little bit more research on that we can look forward to?
Ah, man, that question makes my head spin. But another quite great question. Really quickly, my son, my 9-year-old, was in here today in this office. This is my office. So this is my private side. That's my VA side. And so I sometimes slide back and forth, right? I stay busy, but he was in here. I was helping him with homework. And as we were talking about the different products, he's like, Dad, what would be a good idea if you did something Christmassy with the logo and maybe put like a Christmas hat on it, right? Or lights. It's like, man, that is an awesome idea, kid. Thank you for that, right? Excuse me, I'm going to look into that. So what an awesome thing, man, to be able to collab in that way with family. But yeah, no, a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, a lot of things that we're looking into and that we've already started. As I said at the beginning, finally, we're getting ready to launch some beard brushes and beard combs, which is awesome to have. Those accessories, they're a must anyway, right? If you're a man with a beard, you don't just put beard oil in. Which, please know, we didn't get too much into this, but please know the beard oil is not just for the hair, right? The beard oil is as much for the skin, if not more, than the hair, because as a man's beard grows, it depletes the skin of the natural oils, and that's what tends to cause the beard itch, beard dandruff, dry, flaky skin, just a lot of issues with it, with the beard, which is why a lot of men end up cutting it off. I mean, at the same time, it also helps to moisturize and condition the hair, right? But so it moisturizes and conditions the skin and the hair, especially with the carrier oils that we use, which are, you can go to the website, take a look. We're very transparent. And what you see is what you get, right? 8 carrier oil blends, starting with argan oil, ending with vitamin E oil, right? All of the oils are tremendous, have tremendous health properties for the skin and the hair and the face, right? So after I put it in my beard, man, I'm rubbing it on my face and my hair, right? Because it's all natural, awesome ingredients. But we finally were able to launch sample sizes, right? So not only do we have the 1-ounce bottles, but we have sample sizes and sample packs, right? You can buy a sample pack. So if you want to try a number of the oils, that's how I started. When I was buying from other companies, I didn't want to commit, right, to one bottle because I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, right? So I would buy sample kits or sample sizes from companies, and that helped me get a feel for what I would like and what I didn't. But now getting into the brushes, the combs, and we have a few other things that we're looking at that I won't disclose just yet. I can say that we're looking at working with another vendor, another small business company that I met through the Ybor City Saturday Market, which is where I tend to set up every Saturday, for the most part, every Saturday. That's kind of like my home market. Awesome group of folks. Again, anyone out there who has a small business and looking to set up, great place to start. It's the only nonprofit market I believe in Florida. So it's very reasonably priced for vendors, and awesome place to be. The vendors very supportive, the whole nine. It's like a family. Been there for a year now. So another vendor that I met there who makes a product, who we're looking at collaborating on some things. And let me see, Mr. Caldwell connected me with another veteran-owned business out in Texas. Moms Cater to Mom, Cater to Moms. Believe it's singular, Cater to Mom, where they put together gift boxes started with primarily for women. The owner, as a new mom, had issues with postpartum depression and kind of was going through some things and felt like, most of the attention is paid to the baby, not the mom. And so as she was working through her stuff, from what I've read, we've had some communication, but developed this idea, of putting gift boxes together for moms, and that started taking off. So she's looking at doing cater to dad boxes as well, and is interested in using putting Esthete beard oils in the cater to dad boxes exclusively, which is pretty awesome. So that's a collab that's in the works. So check out Cater to Mom. Cater to moms, maybe moms. It's mom or moms, man. I forget, but you'll find it. Definitely find her on Instagram. And so let's see what else. I mean, again, I reached out to a hotel. Going to be reaching out to some folks, and new scent profiles to come. I'd say within the next 3 to 6 months, I will definitely be putting out some new and hopefully some nice, complex, very interesting scent profiles. And maybe I can explain what I mean by that at another time. I think I'm talking quite a bit tonight, but yeah.
That's all that's all in the purpose of the interview. But no, from what it sounds like, you're working. Even behind the scenes, you're working. Even at Ybor City, you're working. Even in Texas, you're working and getting it out there. So I think that that's important. But another testament to just show that, one, when you surround yourself with like-minded individuals, what they'll do for you. Aaron, like you said, is somebody who will give you everything that he has to ensure your success, your prosperity, and he wants nothing in return for it. And I think that that's even it almost makes you, how selfless he is, just makes you want to just bless him in any way or any capacity that you can. But that he really just does it from the heart, from the love. But for me, just hearing everything that you're thinking about, just from even something as small as, because as soon as you said the Christmas hat, I'm in my head like, well, a couple of logos would look good with I'm thinking like, wow, that was a very good idea. And it's just something so small like that. But had you not asked him or talked to him, but holidays are big growing up, especially with kids and children from school to just the dress up. Like even as I was walking after I parked yesterday, I'm seeing all the kids dressed up and walking to school with the lunch bags and the book bag at 8 in the morning. Just but so for that gave me an idea. I was like, wow, I dropped the episode, or I recorded an episode yesterday. Why didn't I put a costume on? Like, why didn't I? It's just little things that I just even think about. But now I just started my December promotion. So big shout out to your children for that. When I drop the December promotion, I will credit them because they are the reason why I'm going to make this happen the way it is. So they got my word on that. But nonetheless, I love to hear that, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're making connections, you're being intentional about what you're doing. But, at the end of the day, the product speaks for itself. As someone who puts it on their face, because that was something that you told me when you gave me the product, because me and Aaron were asking, like, can we just do this all over? I'm quick to I'll give it here, and then I'll give the little, and it just feels good. I'll rub it around. I'll do everything like that. So I will definitely back you up on that, just to say that, it'll revitalize, it'll moisturize, it'll nourish the skin. Sure. And it's that all natural. And whether it's 75, 74, 76, it's organic. So use it, definitely tap in. And like you said, I'm excited now. We got the new scent profiles coming. So I'm gonna definitely have to tap back in. Like I said, I've still been using mine. It's still been lasting me, just like you said, since you gave it to me in July. And here we are in November. So for those of y'all who don't really realize that, that's 4 months. He told me it'll last 6 months. It's going to last me into next year. I'm already seeing that. So
Depending on how much you use.
yeah,
I just want to throw that
I
caveat out
definitely
there.
did see. Now, I'm not going to lie. Like last month, I was looking. I was like, wow. All right, it's getting a little. It's getting a little. I might have went a little crazy last month. I was moving around a lot after a shower or just anything like that. I just love that. Even in the mornings before I head out to work, after I wash my face and stuff, definitely need that. But I love to hear that there are definitely some things in the works. There's some things that are already being worked on. Cater to moms, cater to dads. I think that that's important. And big shout out to them. Definitely going to look them up and connect with them because I would love to dive deeper into that venture as well. But I just love everything that you have going on, Frankie, just from the time that we met to just now to just being able to see you each week with WeWork and with Bunker Labs and just everything that's going on. So definitely encouraging you, definitely extending my arm to support, extended down to businesses reach and everything that we can do to get you tapped in to make sure that you're getting the exposure and everything because you're doing the work. The product, like I said, speaks for itself and you're very personable with it too. So it's no doubt in my mind that there are people out there, whether they shop with you, whether they just come for education, collaboration, anything like that, they'll definitely get something good out of it. So before we officially close out, before I tell people where they can find you, website, social media, anything like that, do you feel like there's any last words that you want to leave for the people out there, whether they be business owners, entrepreneurs, whether they just be people tapping in, anything you feel like we haven't really touched on today that you want people to know about Esthete, about you, about what's coming, veterans, anything?
The biggest thing that stands out is uh, just be true to you. Again, as we were talking about entrepreneurship being accessible to anyone. I mean, literally anyone. Man, just don't give up on yourself. Just keep moving forward. I love to tell people, man, I try to do the next right thing to the best of my ability, one day at a time. And so long as I do that, excuse me, in my own walk, do my best to honor God. That things work out, right? We have a tendency, especially going into the holidays, we have a tendency to overstress ourselves, spread ourselves too thin. And the truth is, it's not just me in my own life experience. I guarantee any one of you who reflects back on your life experiences, we have a tendency to awfulize, right? To just catastrophize. Everything is a big deal. Everything, oh my goodness, worst case scenario, right? The sky is falling. But if you look back, right? I know for me, I can't think of one instance in my life where things played out as badly as I played them out in my head, right? And so if you can, at a minimum, if you can keep that in the forefront of your mind, just recognition that things work out, man. If you can, we make mistakes, but if you can stop and do your get the help you need and do the next right thing to the best of your ability, one day at a time, you have an opportunity to make things have an opportunity to work out with or without you, right? So just try to be easy. I'm always open to feedback. So if anyone has any thoughts, questions, especially thoughts as it relates to product, or you want to give some kind of feedback, listen. I had a conversation with a coworker today with just about that. Like, listen, you're not my supervisor. It doesn't matter. You have feedback for me, please give it to me because I need it, right? I want to be the best version of me. I want to do better today than I did yesterday. I want to do better tomorrow than I did today. And I can't do that without feedback, right? So please open to it. And then just a shout out to, I want to name my kids. So my youngest, Noah, 7, Mateo, my middle son, and my oldest, the princess of the house, Alessandra, who we call her by her middle name, Saori. My wife is half Japanese, so all of our kids have Japanese middle names, and so we call her by her middle name. And my awesome, supportive, strong, beautiful wife, Cecilia. Thank you for all of your love and support because this thing wouldn't be where it is without you. So thank you for your love and support.
I love all of that. Amen to that. I don't think anyone has ever ended the episode with a shout out. So you are the first to set that trend. So I love that. But no, it definitely pays dividends to, just recognize that the brand, everything wouldn't be functioning, wouldn't be running and everything without, a solid foundation. So I love to hear that, you were able to get this family involved and stay locked in, stay interested. But I'm sure also there have been some learning points, some pain points, but some fun things. And there's so much, the sky is definitely the limit and then some for y'all. So I'm excited to see it. So the last but most important thing of them all, the people need to know where to find you. What's the social media? What's the website? Best places to reach you for people who want to shop, find out more. Give me everything you got.
All right. Website is the www.esthetebeard.com. I'm going to go ahead and do it in the phonetic alphabet. It can be a difficult word. E as in echo, S as in Sierra, T as in tango, H as in hotel, E as in echo, T as in tango, E as in echo, beard, ESTHETE, beard.com, and social media handle at Esthete Beard. We tried to keep it simple. So definitely check us out. We try to put out stuff that's uplifting, motivational, inspirational, and hopefully that's working based on some of the at least the impressions we get seem to indicate that that's the case. But yeah, please check us out. Welcome to feedback. I'm open to feedback, so I definitely welcome it. And thank you, Tamar, for the opportunity to come on your podcast. I know we talked about it a little bit, and I was this isn't my I'm not the I don't like to be out there like this, and so this is not my comfort zone. And but I definitely appreciate the opportunity to come out and do this. Love what you're doing, and I'm going to be continuing to follow your work as well. And please let me know how I can, support you in your work as well.
Absolutely. Much love. I thank you. It was so timely when you stopped at the desk and I literally showed you the paper that I had with your name on it that said you'll be hearing from me. So, God doesn't make mistakes, man. He definitely brings people and
That's
brings
for sure.
exactly how it should happen. So as grateful as you are for me, I'm tenfold grateful for you and just coming on here and sharing the platform with me and giving my viewers something to, look forward to, look into, shop with, collaborate with, and everything. So I'm very excited to see, what comes from this and what we continue to do both separately and then collaboratively. So
Sounds like a winner.
Frankie, to Esthete, to the children, the wife, the family, everybody, thank you. We appreciate y'all. We are definitely supporting y'all, rooting for y'all all the way, and let us know how down the business can be of assistance to everyone else out there. Continuously shows love, continuously taps in, gives us feedback, makes it happen, supports the vision, everything like that, shops with us, comes to the events. It doesn't go, unaccounted for. It doesn't go in grain. We appreciate, we see it all, we love it all. And, just stick with us most importantly. So this has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.